out there in YouTube land. The topic of the day is weird tobaccos, or more accurately, unusual tobaccos. Yeah. Let me get my housekeeping out of the way. This is my Downy pipe that's been featured in other videos, and in it I be smoking McClelland's Royal Cajun. Now this tobacco claimed to be a innovative tobacco, that the tobacco was subjected to processes which made it the first innovative tobacco in some 40 years. That may be true. I can't say I particularly like it. It's very it's very subtle tasting, and not in a rewarding kind of way. But yeah, I'm slowly making my way through the tin. It's been open for probably a year or so, and I just dip into it very occasionally. Usually when I'm going to be multitasking and not enjoying the tobacco particularly well anyway. But talking about unusual tobaccos today, and I'm not talking here about aromatics. There are some really weird aromatics out there. Fortunately, they're not popular, but many years ago at the Chicago Pipe Show, I was given a bunch of flyers and literature by various vendors, and one guy, I kid you not, and I wish I were, but I kid you not, one guy was advertising peanut butter and jelly tobacco. Yeah, and I think the same guy also had watermelon tobacco. That's just a matter of you can make it, therefore you do. Not because it's actually good. Just because you can make peanut butter and jelly doesn't mean you actually should make peanut butter and jelly tobacco flavored tobacco. But I'm not talking about aromatics today, because aromatics you can just go overboard and make some really funky ass stuff. Instead, I'm talking about the more pure, unflavored tobacco, and there's a reason why I need to justify that, and I'll get to it in a minute. Now, as you may know, I'm not a newbie to pipe smoking. I've been smoking a pipe for a quarter of a century, probably a little bit more than that by now. But in all these years, I have to say that the three most unusual tobaccos, by pure coincidence, just happen to be the last three tobaccos that I've tried. It's coincidence. The gods of Poisson distribution are messing with me. But anyway, so today I'm going to talk about these three tobaccos. And I'm going to begin with the most recent one to me, because this one is the one that's most well known, and you may already be familiar with this one. And I'm talking here about Samuel Gawith's 1792 flake. And this is actually the reason why I need to justify unflavored. Because this is not an aromatic. I don't think anybody would consider this to be an aromatic. But it is flavored. There is a non-tobacco element in here. And let me just skim over the tin notes, or the blend notes here. Full strength, mellow tobacco comprising of a blend of dark fire Tanzanian leaf. Undergoes a steaming process prior to being pressed. Then it's wrapped in a select leaf and packed by hand into 12-inch squares for a minimum of 2 hours. Then placed into a steam press where it is baked at full heat for 2 to 3 hours. Taking on the characteristic rich, dark color. The hardening occurs during cooling. Once the process of cutting the flake and adding a Tonquin flavor is carried out. Okay, so it has Tonquin in here. If you don't know what Tonquin is, it's going to be hard to describe, but Tonquin is a non-tobacco element. It's not an aromatic. This is not an aromatic, but it does have some non-tobacco elements in it. Well, one anyway, Tonquin. And the result is quite unusual. It smell that. Um, it reminds me somewhat of candles. Like if you walked into a candle shop and some candles were burning and they had a whole bunch of unlit candles in there that maybe they made on premises, that somewhat resembles the smell. Some people have compared it to vanilla, and somewhat true. Now there's other blends that have another non-tobacco element called deer tongue. Deer tongue, I think, is actually, it's also compared to vanilla, and I think that one is a closer one. This is a little bit less in the. It has vanilla. It has shades of vanilla, but a little bit less than deer tongue does. Still, it's a really good tobacco. I really like it. But it's quite unusual. It's not. It doesn't compare to your Virginias or your Vapors or your Balkans. It doesn't fit into any neat category. And in fact, all the three blends that I'm going to talk about today do not fit into any pre-existing category that you may have. Now, the next one. This is a Cornell and Deal blend, which is almost gone. I've ordered more, but that shipment is very, very late, and I'm getting very worried. I don't know what's going to happen there. I may have to cut my losses there. But this is a Cornell and Deal C&D Boker Ore. Now, Boker Ore is, if you read the tin description, there's nothing unusual about it, except the word unusual. Here's the tin description. An unusual base of light yet rich Orientals serve as a backdrop to a real Perique presence, enveloping stoved red Virginias, sweetened with a bit of black Cavendish. Perfect with a cup of strong coffee or on a morning stroll. So you see there's Orientals, Perique, Red Virginia, Black Cavendish. Nothing particularly unusual about this, and yet when you try it, it's like it's a good, but a very unusual smell. It does not really resemble any blend you may be familiar with. In fact, I've tried it before, and I let Harvey. He didn't smoke it, but he sniffed it, and his reaction was the same. It's like, is that tobacco? Because it's just such an unusual blend that it doesn't taste like or smell like things you may have experienced before, and yet it's quite good. It has a very peppery taste to it, and yet I would not say that the pepper is just from the Perique. There is definitely some Perique in here, but it has the peppery taste that seems to come from somewhere else as well. Anyway, Boker Ore. This is a blend that I think everybody should try. It may not be for you, but it's so unusual that I think you need to try it so that you can feel that you've experienced everything the world of tobacco has to offer. Alright, now the final tobacco I'm going to walk you through is a rope. This is my first rope. And again, I ordered more of it because I liked it so much, and again, that's in the shipment that is very, very late. Brown Irish Twist. Now, if anyone out there is not familiar with what a rope is, I just use a cigar cutter to use it, and this is a rope. Looks rather like this. It's just cut, and it's rolled and twisted, and just put out like this, and then you slice it off, and you can you can rub it out or use it as coins or whatnot. But Alright. Brown Irish twist. Now, again, let me give you the background information. Same as black twist, which I never tried, so it doesn't help me very much there. Same as black twist, but the brown form comes straight from the spinning machine. Sliced brown, unscented, instead of undergoing a further process of cooling under pressure to turn it into black tobacco. So the tin description here, oddly enough, does not tell you what it is. It tells you what it isn't. It assumes you know what black form is, and it tells you why it's not black. Which I don't think is the most informative thing to do. But anyway, the taste. Now it is a strong flavor. It's also very strong in the nicotine department, as by the way 1792 can be as well. I'm not a big fan of nicotine hit. I usually do my best to avoid it. I won't avoid a blend that is strong in nicotine if I happen to like the flavor of it, but I will smoke it slowly, and I'll try not to get the nicotine buzz because I don't like feeling that way. Anyway, the taste, there's two elements on it. There is a very deep flavor to it, a very grounded, very earthy flavor that is very, very strong. It's unmistakable. There's a very deep presence in here. But flying high above it, you have this overtones, unmistakable overtones. Overtones may be a little bit too weak of a word there. That when I first tried it, it reminded me very much of cloves, the kitchen spice cloves, which is unusual right there, right? And it does say unscented. This is not an aromatic. But it was like this deep earthy taste, and then cloves on top of it, and then later, a different pipe, different combination. It wasn't so much cloves; it was cinnamon, and not like weak, cinnamon sugar cinnamon, but like real ground cinnamon, and that really pronounced cinnamon taste to it. And every time I've tried it since then, I've gotten either cloves or I've gotten cinnamon. Now you might be thinking, cinnamon, who wants cinnamon tobacco? Well, it's not cinnamon tobacco. It's not aromatic. It's not clove-flavored tobacco. It's just something about the tobacco reminds me of cinnamon or of clove. And again, it's something I would like to just recommend you try. See if you like it. So anyway, I've shown you three tobaccos here: 1792, Booker Ore, and Brown Irish Twist. All of which I think are good. I mean, there's weird good and there's weird bad, and these are all weird good. But I want to recommend that you try them, simply because your knowledge of the tobacco world is incomplete until you've tried these, because they're off the beaten path. I mean, usually there's not many surprises. You try a new English blend, and even if it's really good, it's still just a different combination of things that you already know. With these blends, they were like, this is just weird. I mean, I've never tried anything like this before. I did not have a category in my head for any of these three tobaccos. And yet I've enjoyed them all. So I want to recommend you try one or two or all three of these, just so you have, just for the sake of expanding your notion of what tobacco is like, because these are really different than anything you may have experienced before. Okay, my friends, a long video, but hopefully it was informative to you. Hopefully it made you want to try some of these tobaccos. Next time you're in the mood for something unusual, you want to try something a little bit different, off the beaten path, I highly recommend either 1792, Booker Ore, or the Brown Irish Twist. Okay, my friends, I am enjoying my pipe, and I hope you are enjoying yours. Ta-ta.